Hello again! So here we are, ready to record the second part of my life story. And today I am lucky to have my dear son Jordan, whom I took out of the womb, remember the story? And I am with my dear friend Krista, who is this amazing videographer that is going to help me do the story of my life and put the pictures in there. You know, this woman here is a genius and she's very talented. So anybody in this video work, call Krista. So soon after this, I will continue with the good part of the story. Okay, now we're going to try to continue the rest of the story. There's going to be some jumping back and forth because that's the nature of life. Yesterday, I got this bear that has my voice recording so my grandson can hear me tell him how much I love him. That was Gabriel's great idea. Thank you, Gabriel. Okay, another thing that I wanted to show, I told you the story when after working for the Ministry of Agriculture and after working for the biggest dairy company in Argentina that exports butter all over the world, I made partner with my colleague, agricultural engineer, and we founded Intermontes Sociedad Anónima. We purchased a bulldozer D7, and I told the story already, how we were wood clearing and growing crops, but I didn't show you the bulldozer. This is a rare picture of me driving the bulldozer while the regular guy was having lunch. You know, I enjoyed just going, brrr, that was crazy. So, thank you, Krista. Now for the good parts. I wanted to mention a very important person in my life, which is Florence Lesure, better known as Flo to everybody. Flo has been my friend for, we lost count, 20, 30 years, maybe more, from Carmel, Seaside, who knows. She's been my friend forever, and she's kind of like our local priestess. She organizes events to keep us getting together and dancing and singing. And one of the things that I got from Flo is like the encouragement to work with positive affirmation, manifestation. Get a yellow pad, write them down. I want to make $10,000. I want to make $10,000. I want this, I want that. Pray for it, read it every day, and guess what? A few months later, my company is making $10,000. Thank you for the manifestation and the positive affirmations. But when you give the impetus, you know, from $10,000, then the company went to $30,000 a month. Thank you, God. So you overstep the goal. So I owe a lot of that to my friend Flo because we did that together. She had her own manifestations also that I helped her. So that was the story of Flo. I wanted to complete the happy story of our life in Hawaii, how I told the story earlier, how I went from driving a Mercedes-Benz with an air conditioning office to standing in a gallery selling pictures to the tourists. Can you believe that? I made enough money to buy an ocean view house. And I got off work at 3 p.m. and go swimming with the dolphins. I went there as a junior salesperson selling art off the walls, and I did that for a few years and made good enough money to buy a house. But then I found these art reproductions called artographs. Krista will show you some. They look like an original Monet with a paintbrush, Monet, Renoir, big pictures. Looks like an original Monet. They sell for $1,000. So I became the exclusive distributor of artograph for the state of Hawaii. And I started selling one here and there with Gerard and some galleries. But then guess what? The guy that was manager in Lahaina Galleries when I started and knew me and met me and knew how effective I was, he was creating this art gallery on board of the Queen Elizabeth II. Imagine the cruise ship that cruises all around the world, first class. But in order to have an art gallery to be successful, he couldn't sell just the art of Andrea Smith and the rest of the Lahaina Gallery's art. He needed the bread and butter, sell $1,000 pictures to the tourists, many of them. But I had the exclusive on the autographs. So he approached me and he said, would you be willing to partner with me so we can sell your autographs on board the QE2? So that's how I became 50% partner of the QE2 Art Gallery and Museum. I hope you can see my business card, famous. Vice president of the QE2 Gallery. So we had to, relate with the wealthy people that would buy the expensive paintings. So we had to go to the first class 5-star restaurants, live in the top first class cabin. So I was staying in a cabin that was costing $2,000 a night for normal people. And I had daycare for the children, the babies, when we went with Julia, first class restaurants with lobster and the works. And during the day, I would sit pretty, like you may see in some pictures, with the ocean behind, talking to people, or I would give tours. I was the art director. I had a sign there. I would give tours of the art. We had such beautiful impressionist paintings. So I would give tours of the arts to the passengers. So it was nice to have a little group of passengers, show some of the Lahaina Gallery's art, some of the Monet art, sell some. And that lasted for 2 years, and it was wonderful. We sailed from New York to Southampton to Norway, North Cape. You'll see the pictures of North Cape where the sun never sets, and with my children, and you see behind the sun, that's midnight. Mediterranean, but then we did this incredible cruise from New York to Florida, down to Rio de Janeiro, where you see me with Cristo Redentor. Down, they wouldn't let us in Buenos Aires because of the War of the Falklands, So we kind of stop in Montevideo, which is just across the river, where I saw my dear brother came to Montevideo to see me with his wife. And you'll see this part of the story. He brought us lots of stuff from my parents that had died. It's an ivory sculpture. Oh, how nice. Then I'll take him home. That's great. So we're traveling Falkland Islands. So my brother, and then the Falkland Islands, where I was not allowed to step on land because I was Argentine passport and I was the enemy. But I took pictures, and my wife did go to land because she was not Argentinian. Then we kept going south. Oh man, the Magellan Straits is something no one knows about. I just Googled it, and you can get a good idea on Google Earth what the experience could be. These Magellan Straits, all the way in South America, in between the Tierra del Fuego and the continent. These huge cliffs, narrow straits where you go with the boat, make sure you don't touch the side. It's beautiful, beautiful experience. All those videos were lost, but the memory remains. So after the Magellan Straits, we sail up around Chile, Valparaiso, Viña del Mar, then Lima, Peru, and then back to Los Angeles. And from Los Angeles, guess what? We sailed across the ocean to Maui. We get off the boat in Maui, just walking distance from my ocean view home. Okay, we could have walked home, but no, we had lots of luggage, and they checked the luggage, and they found the ivory sculptures. Uh-oh, this guy's bringing illegal stuff. They opened all my boxes. Imagine, after being all around the world, all my luggage. They searched every nook and cranny because I had an ivory sculpture. It was illegal. I didn't know. Thank you, brother. So they kept the sculpture and they let me go, but it was a bad experience. Ivory sculptures. Don't touch them. Poor elephants. So 2 years traveling first class on the QE2. You can't beat that. Although the flights were like from Maui to Los Angeles to New York, make it in time to meet Julia flying from somewhere else and the kids, and run away into the QE2, make sure you don't miss the trip. We almost missed it once, it was scary, but it all went happy, good to go, good. So that was the story of the QE2. Total time in art in Lahaina galleries was about 8 years in Maui. Then the QE2 thing dissolved in some way because the new owner's wife wanted to be the ship decorator and she wanted only her kind of art, no my art. So that went away. I kept working with Lahaina galleries, but then after about 4 or 5 years married with Julia and having Jordan and Gabriel, happy life together, you'll see some pictures, we ended up separating for various good reasons. And then she traveled all the way back to Indiana, Little Huntingburg, where her family was. So she had to go back to her family with my children. And I was too far away from Maui. So I figured I'd rather live in Los Angeles, California, be 5 hours away from them instead of being 10 hours away and 2 flights. So I got hired by a Lahaina artist, David Lee, to open a gallery for him in Carmel. So you may see the card, it says Eduardo Jalles, art manager or director of the David Lee Galleries in Carmel. It was fun to, hire a locale and open a gallery, hire people and sell only his art. Chinese warlord. He was a tough guy, David Lee. Good artist though. So then I quit with David Lee and I started working with David Simic Galleries. Wonderful guy, David Simic. He had 4 or 5 galleries around town, and I was assistant to the president of Simic Galleries because I had the experience. And so I worked for Simic Galleries for a few years, and it was a happy experience. And I think in the meantime, around that time, is when I met Charlotte Patterson, beautiful young girl whom I fell in love with. That was the first time in my life that I really wanted to get married, to be honest, okay? The other 3 marriages were kind of forced on me. I was in love with Char, and I married her, and we were happy for a while. But what I didn't know is that she was a recovering alcoholic. And I guess I was practicing Tantra, studying Tantra too much, and she was very attractive, and she had a hysterectomy without permission. And so it was too much sexual pressure, I think was the bottom line. And so she ended up drinking more, again, a whole bottle of wine and one more. So there was a kicking and fighting and a very ugly, sad, painful separation with a restraining order for 3 years. So my heart was broken for 2 years to recover. That was one of the most painful emotional experiences in my life. But such is life. What happened with the business is simultaneously, as I was winding out with the Lahaina Simic Galleries, my water business started sprouting out again. It's like I never liked chemicals in water, and I found this product that will prevent your hard water from scaling up your shower or scaling up your water heater and having to throw it away full of scale. With no chemicals and no salt, the scale watcher wraps a coil around the pipe, and there's no more scale in the house. Your skin and hair feel soft. What a great product. So I became the distributor, of course, of Scale Watcher. Originally started business with big companies like Dole Fruits and Vegetables, selling $20,000 pieces of equipment. Big time. But then we're in big time directory meeting with the Dole company, and one of the quality control people or engineers says, can I have one of these for my home? And well, we didn't make for home. It was only industrial. But then, of course, looking me, I looked and I found the scale watcher for residential applications. And I started marketing the scale watcher for a company that had been in business for many years and had a factory in the United States and one in Holland where it started and one in Vietnam and many places. Very poor marketing. So I started working with them, helping them improve their product and their marketing in such a way that, as I've done in the past, I made their gross sales 10 times bigger within 3 years. But while improving the product and the looks and the marketing, my company, Aquagenesis company, benefited of all the same improvements in the manual and the presentation. So my gross sales also grew like tenfold. And that's how I ended up with this abundance that allowed me to buy my $1 million home, $2 million home already, I guess. And my beautiful BMW, and have this wonderful abundance in my life to share with my loved ones. I'm not famous for having hobbies per se, but I have to say that doing yoga every single day of my life, if you can call that a hobby, I couldn't eat breakfast if I hadn't done my shoulder stand and my back bend and my spinal twist. So every single day before anything, I had to do my yoga, then breakfast, then go skiing, of course. So call that another hobby. I couldn't be a winter without skiing. Even when I was living in Maui, I would fly all the way to California, and my dear friend Leonard Lowenshoes would come with my skis and my boots, catch me off the plane and take me skiing up in the mountains. I told the story, even when I was studying as an engineer, I would take 2 weeks off in the winter, which I could study one more subject and advance. I would take 2 weeks off and go skiing every winter. I like skiing because it's such a spiritual experience for me. God, so the thing about skiing, it is my favorite activity for many reasons. One of them is I'm up 8,000 feet high. I'm closer to God, am I not? If you're higher, you're closer to heaven. And you're skiing on the snow, which is zillions of crystals. Did you know that snow crystals are all different? That you are not going to find two identical snow crystals? So just skiing on snow crystals, so close to God with a beautiful sunny day, and then skiing the way I learned with the ski masters is like yin, yang, flowing down the mountain with gravity. It is such a joyful experience. It's always in quest of the perfect turn. And the perfect turn is always like an orgasmic experience. It's so satisfactory when you ski and you know that you carved that turn as you should. And of course, being away from town and business, I would go 3 or 4 days at a time, but I would count a total of 30 ski days in one winter. So I would go a lot. And I really love skiing, and regrettably now, one of my legs is failing. And if there's no skiing and tango dancing, that was one of my other hobbies. I was such a good tanguero, and I danced with my heart, and the girls loved it, and it was such a wonderful experience. But my second leg is not happy anymore. So, guys, you can understand this. No tango, no skiing, no jogging along the beach every day. It's not a happy life anymore. Time to go, because as you may or may not know, I have a brand new body. Will be ready for me to integrate my spirit, my soul, my personality, and my identity. So, hey, I have a new body ready to go. Why wait in pain? Because I have a lot of pain. But Krista wanted to know about Mantak-Chia, very important in my life. Have you met any important famous people? Mantak Chia, you guys better learn this name and Google it. He has hundreds of videos and he gives away freely his wisdom and his teachings, and he published dozens of books. But the main thing that I learned from Mantak Chia, and that he continues to teach, and I continue to teach up to yesterday, is that if you learn about your microcosmic orbit, that is this cycle from your coccyx up your spine to the crown, tip up in the top of your palate, and the energy flows down back to your root. And what he teaches is to transform the raw life energy, the sexual energy, into Shen. Shen means spirit in Chinese. So this raw sexual energy, you transform it into spiritual energy, and spiritual energy is all powerful, it's magic, you can do anything with it. You can use it for self-healing, you can use it to heal others, you can use it to empower your brain, to increase your memory power, manifestation of your thoughts and intentions, to generate more sexual energy so you do more of it, because he teaches also, of course, to retain your ejaculation and hold the power, hold the energy, and transmute it, transmute the energy, squeeze the mula bandha, inhale, bring the energy up to your crown, to your pineal gland, and circulate it and use it again, and interchange it with your lover and feed it back and multiply it 100-fold, 100 times more. So it's a wonderful, amazing source of infinite power and energy. I had the luck to have live workshop with Mantak Chia where he showed me how he does it. It's like, you just squeeze and straighten your back and transmute the energy. So I could see the master do it, and it was easy to learn it that way. You can study it in a book, look at his wonderful videos,